Good morning. I'm Chris Conway, I'm President and CEO of West Hartford Chamber of Commerce. I'm happy to welcome you to the 2022 West Hartford Economic Development Luncheon. It's wonderful to see all your faces, and the rest of you for that matter. As strange as that sounds, it's true. The last time we held this event as an in-person luncheon was April 25th, 2019. 2020 was planned for April of that year. Well, you know the rest. We did hold a virtual event in 2021, attended by many of your floating heads, and thus the comment about seeing you here today. I'd like to recognize a few people in attendance. Our town manager, Rick Ledwith, is here. Rick, where are you? And our chamber chairperson, Chip Januszewski. I know Mayor Cantor is attending, but I don't think she's here yet. But she is easy to mess up. We also have several members of the Chamber's Executive Committee and Board of Directors with us today. I would like to invite them to stand to be recognized. Board please. Thank you for your continued leadership and support. Kristen, you can just stay standing, because of course our keynote presenter, Town of West Hartford Economic Development Coordinator, Kristen Gorski, is here.
Yeah!
The majority of you in attendance today are members of the West Hartford Chamber of Commerce. If you're not, I would enjoy the opportunity to learn more about your business and share how the Chamber can serve you as a resource. Both me and our Director of Programs and Development, Kate Coates, are here. Our contact information is right on the main page of our website, and we are happy to connect with you afterward or to the conclusion of today's program. Now that I've done my shameless plug, I would also like to thank our sponsors for this event. Our presenting sponsor, M&T Bank. Our gold sponsors, Hartford Healthcare. They all deserve applause. People's Bank. Westfield Bank. Also our silver sponsors, Clifton Larson Allen, Comcast Business, and NBT Bank. And our audio video sponsor is Corsi & Company. Our media sponsor is 2020 Media. As you'll see in today's presentation, West Hartford is seeing economic development at an unprecedented scale. I'm sure on your way to this event, you caught a glimpse of this exciting activity going on across our town. For fear of stealing any of Kristen's thunder, I'm going to limit the rest of my comments to things I know she will not talk about. I've known Kristen for over 5 years, and I think I know her pretty well. I'm fairly certain at no point in her presentation will she tell you about her tireless commitment to serving our local business community. She probably won't tell you how she approaches anything that comes her way with a solution-based approach. Maybe she will tell you how much the Chamber staff, board, and our members value the partnership we have in creating programming and connecting businesses and nonprofits with the resources they need to be successful. But she probably won't. She definitely won't tell you that she's awesome and highly regarded by our business community. Did I say anything that you maybe were going to say? Anyone who knows our chairperson, Chip Januszewski, is immediately struck by his positive attitude and willingness to connect businesses with each other for mutual benefit. As an organization, we are fortunate not only for his institutional knowledge of the Chamber, but also his decades of living and working in the West Hartford community. It is my pleasure to introduce the chairperson of the West Hartford Chamber of Commerce, Chip Januszewski.
Thanks, Chris. Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah. Great. Jerome Bear is the Business Banking Regional Manager who is responsible for Greater Hartford and New Haven. Jerome has been with M&T Bank for 14 years, and his most recent position was as the Business Banking Manager for Philadelphia and Southern New Jersey. He moved to West Hartford in March this year with his wife Mary and two sons, Louis and Thomas. Join me in giving a warm welcome to the new Mayor.
Hello, everyone. So, when I had to pick out that headshot, that was before the conversion. It's 2 days before conversion. How rested I am, bags under my eyes. So, I'll have to get another one. But, thank you for having us today. I was thinking of a couple of quick stories that I'd share with you to help you learn a little bit more about me. So, today is also my wife's first day back to work after maternity leave. And, And so she had to go to New Jersey this morning. They had meetings, so she had to leave at 5 a.m. So today was also the first day that I had to get dad to a 4-month-old baby, get him all ready, take him to preschool or daycare, get my son on the bus. And I'm proud to say only one of us cried. I was going to be all right. Only one. And then the other thing, sitting with the mayor, I just had a flashback. So we moved here in March. My son joined Little League. I don't know when Little League opening day was, April or something like that. And I still remember you came out and you gave a speech, and then you started doing cartwheels all over the field. And my wife was like, I like this town. I've been here for a while. So you made a lasting impression. So I just want to start off, I think, obviously the People's United merger with M&T, there have been some headlines in the news, and unfortunately some clients had difficulties. So I just want to publicly apologize for that. I know a lot of people are okay, or a lot of people's issues have been resolved, but there's still some lingering people out there, and we won't stop, so everyone's taken care of. There's 5 or 6 of us sitting at this table. We'll take any issues that remain, but we're committed to Connecticut. We're committed to solving these problems, and we apologize for the disruptions that can cause with the conversion. And so, related to conversion, I'm like, what's my message going to be today? So, I was watching Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago. Jalen Hurts was on, not a Phillies or an Eagles fan, but I was like, Jalen Hurts, I'll listen to him. And he had a quote that was, be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Be a thermostat, not a thermometer. And the message is, a thermostat sets the temperatures. A thermostat sets the mood, the culture, the tone, whatever it is. The thermometer just reacts to it. It's hot or cold, it's good or bad, whatever it is. And so as I was thinking about it, I haven't seen, we need to meet the thermostats. We need to be leaders, we need to take care of the customers, and take care of the change. And then with this luncheon, and with all the leaders in this room, you're all thermostats too. We're thermostats together in this community. So I wanted to just, throw that out there. That's something that's been in my head for the past 2 weeks. Be a thermostat all the time, try to be the leader and set the example for people. And I just want to share a couple things that M&T is doing to hopefully, show that in the community. So the first is, it came out last week. We are officially the number 6 SBA lender in the country, number 2 in Connecticut. So that's a great accomplishment. It's something we'll continue to do to support small businesses. Additionally, we have the Amplify Fund, which will provide millions of dollars to Connecticut not-for-profits to support mainly underserved and underbanked communities. And then thirdly, the Connecticut Boost Fund with the governor's office, providing grants and loans to small businesses and not-for-profits up to $500,000. So, this is really our chance to show our commitment to Connecticut. And just wanted to share those things with you and introduce myself at M&T. We'll be around for a while. I'm really committed to this city and this state. So thank you. So that was the easy part. Now I got to read Kristen's bio, which had big words in it. A lot of words I don't normally say. So bear with me. So Kristen Gorski serves as the Economic Development Coordinator for the town of West Hartford. She provides extensive outreach to enhance the relationship between the town of West Hartford and local businesses. Kristen is responsible for business retention and expansion, new business attraction, new development, and small business and entrepreneurial support. That was the word I was worried about. Not support. She is the liaison between the town and its businesses and nonprofit organizations, as well as the real estate and development community. Prior to joining the town of West Hartford in 2016, she worked at the Bristol Development Authority for the city of Bristol. A Massachusetts native, Kristen moved to Connecticut in 2015. In Massachusetts, she worked for the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, the state's largest regional planning agency, whose focus is to promote smart regional collaboration. While at MAPC, she served as a liaison between federal and state agencies, as well as local government representatives statewide, implementing homeland security planning initiatives. Kristen also assisted with the Cambridge Post-Disaster Recovery for Small Businesses project, working collaboratively with the city of Cambridge and their various business districts. Additionally, she has more than 6 years of business management experience in the retail sector. Kristen is the current president of the Connecticut Economic Development Association, which is a statewide association for economic development professionals. She is actively involved with the West Hartford Chamber of Commerce, where she serves on the Economic Development Committee, is a town representative to the Board of Directors, and is the former president of Future Leaders of West Hartford. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Geography and Regional Planning and a BS in Criminal Justice, both from Westfield State University. Additionally, Kristen was recently recognized as part of the 2022 class of Hartford Business School's prestigious Coordinator Award. So with that, please welcome Kristen.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Thrilled, appreciate the introduction. So what I will say is to Chris and Kate, before I kick this off, thank you, Chris, for the really nice things that you had to say. We quite honestly could not do anything that we do in West Hartford without the Chamber. They are instrumental in moving us forward. They have been such a fantastic partner, especially through COVID. And we continue to grow that bond and build the business community every single day. So thank you so much to the Chamber. All right, so let's get rolling. So the economic development update, as Chris said, we have not been in person since 2019. We did this virtually last year. So I'm very excited to be here with all of you today and appreciate you coming. So previous years, I think the last 4 years, we did a drive-through tour through West Hartford. Thought that we would shake it up a little bit this year. So this year's presentation is going to be from the perspective of frequently asked questions. So these are questions that I get on a very regular basis. So we'll walk through different industry sectors based on these questions. First question.
Has the pandemic changed brick and mortar retail?
Great question. All right, so in West Hartford, we're doing extremely well, as Chris had said. Through all industry sectors, we are seeing all-time lows in vacancies. So here's what we're seeing in retail. And I'll just note that this is from, since our last presentation was in the spring of 2021, this is about a year and some change, so about a year and 4 months worth of new business and development. So in Bishop's Corner, we welcome Gillette Wines and Spirits. This is in the back side of the Big Y Plaza. This is the second location for them. And then opening last month, a very new retailer, Flowers of Life Herbal Apothecary. They also opened in Bishop's Corner. Farmington Avenue East, Porchon Marketplace at 770 Farmington Avenue. They opened last year. They are a market that sells takeout items as well as specialty grocery items, and they feature Middle Eastern cuisine. Moving into Blueback Square, we had a couple new retailers. Pharmacy at Blueback, as well as recently announced, soon we will welcome Kilman's. So they are going to be a franchise location from a West Hartford resident. They will feature candies, homemade chocolates, as well as ice cream. On South Main Street, the next chapter opened last year. This is a store thanks to the West Hartford Public Schools, and this supports the clients in their post-secondary program. West Hartford Apothecary opened at 994 Farmington Avenue. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, a really great ribbon cutting through the chamber. Pink Flamingo Party Company, they opened a sizable brick and mortar location, the first for them here in West Hartford. On LaSalle Road, Store 52 is a new concept by Lux Bond & Green. They are a jewelry store that is located directly next to Lux Bond & Green's flagship location. The mayor has been chatting at our table about this. I guess there's some interest. This is newly announced, so in the former Freshie space on LaSalle Road. More Italian Pasta Company, they will be opening in that space. So what's cool about this is a sneak peek and first view, I think, of these renderings. So this is a woman who will be opening a pasta company. They will manufacture all pasta and sauces and items in-house. It will be a retail sales point, and she is relocating to West Hartford from Rome, Italy. New news about 2 weeks ago, incredibly exciting. We will soon welcome Riverbend Bookshop. So they are currently located in Glastonbury, opening another location on Park Road at 161 Park Road. We are incredibly excited, I think, specifically because this will be an independently owned bookstore. I can't tell you the number of times that residents have contacted me requesting that we recruit an independently owned bookstore. So they will be an incredibly welcomed addition. At the Prospect Plaza over off of Kane Street, two new retailers, DTLR, which is Downtown Locker Room. They recently opened this summer. They feature different types of footwear, specifically sneakers. And then in the former 70,000 square foot ShopRite space, we also welcomed Floor and Decor earlier this year. Over on New Park Avenue, this is in the commercial space at 616 New Park. BCco, this is a bike shop, so they both sell bikes as well as do repairs in-house. So this is a bike shop that was opened by the Center for Latino Progress. Exciting to see a commercial retailer at 616 New Park. AutoZone, also on New Park Avenue. This is a second location that they opened in West Hartford. This is a very sizable location. It's more than 30,000 square feet of space. So what this is a traditional retail shop like we have on Britain Avenue, but it also serves as regional warehousing and distribution for their other stores in this location, in this area. Excuse me. 20,000 square feet of space over at 983 New Britain Avenue was recently taken by Harbor Freight Tools. They had opened this summer in the former Blast Fitness space. That is a space that has been vacant for more than 6 or 7 years, so excited to welcome them. 80 South Street also welcomed Mark's Appliance Warehouse. So this is a great business that has been in business in West Hartford for more than 25 years. They recently relocated from Prospect Avenue over to 80 South Street. So when they relocated, they were in just over 2,500 square feet over on Prospect Avenue, and they are now in close to 8,000 square feet. So a very sizable expansion here in West Hartford. We have Brewing and Roasting. They actually, this past weekend, celebrated 1 year in business, so congratulations to them. They opened 1 year ago, and they are a brewery, so they, as well as a roastery, so they sell coffee in the morning and beer in the afternoon. In Corbin's Corner, if you've been there recently, it is a little bit chaotic. So they are currently working on a facade improvement project there. So this is a large-scale project that was originally approved by the town council in 2019. It was put on hold during the course of the pandemic, and then they just started this up recently. So what you will see when this is complete early next year will be significant changes in terms of walkability within this plaza. So they're putting a lot of pedestrian improvements, some new benches, landscaping, the whole nine. So this will be a huge transformation and significant investment, again, set to be completed early next year. Other businesses that they welcomed in this plaza that is owned by Regency Centers, J. Crew Factory recently opened in 7,000 square feet of space, Choice Pet, Nothing Bundt Cakes, and then in a very interesting turn of events, Jared Jewelers had closed. They've been closed for well over a year, and then we recently heard that they are coming back into this space. So Jared, this is thanks to Ronnie, who sent me this picture over the weekend. This is brand new, where their sign is back up, and they will reopen soon. Crumble Cookies is also a recent announcement, so that is in the Seritage Plaza. So they will be opening about 2 doors down from REI. And then over at West Farms Mall, Box Lunch is a new retailer. And then the renderings on the right-hand side is what we can expect for the former Ruby Tuesday space. So Our House is a company that's expanding throughout the Northeast. They are a Scandinavian furniture store. Upscale items that they will sell. They will be doing, as you see, some significant facade improvements, and they hope to open next year. Next question.
It seems like there are multi-family development all over the place. What are some of the major projects?
Thank you. So this will be broken down into 2 sections, approved projects and proposed projects. So let's move into approved. 540 New Park. I see George Howell is here, so thanks for being here today, George. 540 New Park is thanks to Troutbrook Realty Advisors, which is the real estate arm of the West Hartford Housing Authority. This is a second signature development for them on New Park Avenue. So this is our transit-oriented development corridor, and we are excited that towards the end of this year, this will open. It will feature 52 units of mixed-use, mixed-income apartments. So the breakdown is approximately 80% affordable, 20% market rate. They will also have a 1,500 square foot commercial space on the ground floor. So this is a significant investment. As you can see, the renderings are on the left and progress is on the right. This is probably one of the most difficult projects to take pictures of as cars are going through New Park Avenue, but thanks to the Housing Authority for getting me this. We also celebrated a little over a year ago last summer, a beam signing with the governor, lieutenant governor, and our mayor. So excited to see the significant progress and can't wait for this new development to get open. Residences at Berkshire Road. So this is located at the corner of Berkshire Road and New Britain Avenue. This is thanks to 47 Pratt Street LLC, who is the developer. It is a 3-building, 26-unit development. 2 of those units are dedicated for affordable housing. This is again, significant investment in our town, and they are currently pre-leasing, and they hope to open to residents before the end of this year. Now, this slide has been here for a number of years, but we're excited to finally see some significant progress. One Park Road is on the former Sisters of St. Joseph parcel, so that's at the corner of Park Road and Prospect Avenue. So what you're seeing on the right-hand side, the developer sent me these photos last week. They are, again, making significant progress. So what this project is it is a conversion of the former convent, as well as adding a significant addition to the backside. When this is complete, it is going to welcome 295 units of housing, 30 of which will be dedicated affordable housing units in partnership with the West Hartford Housing Authority. This is probably one of our largest, if not largest, investment that we have seen in West Hartford for multifamily, totaling over $66 million worth of investment. They are currently working to wrap up the retrofit of the convent, which they hope to start to lease early next year, with a grand completion date for the entire project before the end of 2023. Brand new is the byline. So this was approved by the town council in January of this current year. So this is a new development by Jasco Development. So what you see on the left-hand side are two former office buildings in West Hartford Center. So this is very close to the corner of Trout Brook Drive. The developers purchased these parcels, and then they were able to get approvals again through town council. Recently, they demolished the office buildings, and soon we will see significant progress on what we see on the right-hand side. So what this is a new mixed-use development. They will have 10,000 square feet of commercial office space on the ground floor, and then 4 stories, 48 units of housing, 2 of which are dedicated affordable units. Proposed developments. So these are all developments that have gone through the process of review with staff as well as our design review advisory committee, but they have not gotten to the point where they have had a public hearing to get approved yet. Many of these are quickly coming down the pike, so let me touch on some of these. 950 Trout Brook Drive. This is a parcel that's owned by Kingswood Oxford, but currently under contract with Continental Properties. Continental Properties is currently proposing, as you see on the right-hand side of the screen, to demolish the former Children's Museum building. They recently relocated within town, so they will demo this building and then they will construct a 6-story multifamily apartment building. So this is currently projected at 172 units. Another great investment here in West Hartford. What's exciting about this is they actually have their public hearing with the town council tomorrow evening. So we will know tomorrow whether this is something that we can expect. But thank Continental Properties for their great partnership and their proposed development. Very new news. It's always difficult to keep up as I'm putting together this presentation, as news is coming out very quickly. So very new news, which was broke by weha.com, so thank you, Ronnie. The West Hartford Inn is currently under contract to be purchased by a developer called WHI Camelot LLC. So what they are hoping to do is to be able to convert this building into 44 units of housing, specifically 80% affordable housing. So as you'll see with the next couple of slides and what I've already discussed, we've seen a lot of luxury and market rate units that are being proposed or being built in West Hartford Center. And so this is definitely a way to be able to accommodate diversity, and affordable units is something that is very, very necessary, especially as we're seeing some higher rents coming into West Hartford Center. I will also note that this was made news when we submitted, the town in partnership with the developer, a grant to the state of Connecticut's brownfield remediation program. So as a public-private partnership, last month we submitted a little less than $1 million in request to be able to clean up the contamination that is currently in that building. So this is a project that is evolving incredibly quickly, so we will keep everybody updated as we can. Over at LaSalle Road and Arapahoe, this is another project that is rapidly evolving. So this is a project by the Arapahoe Group. So what they are looking to do, if you look on the left-hand side of the screen, at the corner of Arapahoe and LaSalle, next to the Webster Bank building, they are looking to do an infill development which will feature somewhere between 20 and 25 units of housing, ground floor commercial space, and then in the back side behind Webster Bank, their Union Kitchen, they're proposing a 6-story condo community. So they'll have around 60 units, 60 to 65 units that they're proposing in this condo community. What's really exciting is, as we're seeing a lot of apartment investment, again, this hits on the diversity of investment that we're seeing coming into West Hartford Center, and specifically our community. So they are currently set, I believe, to go to Design Review Advisory Committee again later this week, with a hopeful application within the next month and some change. On Farmington Avenue, this is the SK Lavery site. So this is another developer who has gone several times to Design Review Advisory Committee. This is Stone Point Investment. They had purchased this building back in 2019 and spent a lot of time working on redevelopment plans. So as you can see on both the bottom left and the right-hand side, these are renderings that they currently have. They are working to further refine prior to submitting a special development district application to the town. However, what we can expect is ground floor commercial and then approximately 75 units of apartments. So this is a 5-story development, as you see, and another significant investment for a building that has been sitting almost completely vacant with the exception of Fleet Feet. So this is another project that will continue to very rapidly evolve. In Elmwood, the Elmwood Lofts, this is a first look at renderings for this site. So earlier this year, news broke that the former Puritan furniture site, which had been sold back in 2020, was going to be redeveloped into a mixed-use building. So the owner has worked with the town in order to submit and successfully receive just shy of $1 million of brownfield remediation funding from the state of Connecticut in order to clean up the environmental contamination on this site. They are going to Design Review Advisory Committee what we believe will be one final time on Thursday of this week. And then they will be submitting a site plan application, which will be the first site plan application that we will receive under our new transit-oriented development zoning district. So that is our TOD zone, is something that the town adopted earlier this summer. And so basically what it allows within a quarter-mile radius of any or either of the fast track stations, and just a note, in West Hartford we do have 2. It allows for a more streamlined approval process, and it allows for you to get additional density and reduction on some of our requirements, and therefore going through an administrative approval path. So we expect this application to be received, I would say, no later than November. When this is complete, this will be north of a $34 million mixed-use project. So excited to see this investment in Elmwood. And just to note, it's approximately 400 feet from the Elmwood Fast Track Station. So we do expect that people will utilize, as we said, transit, different modes of transportation other than just vehicles. So with all of those proposed and approved projects, they total more than $300 million worth of new investment in West Hartford. So significant. This is, again, one of the highest investments that we have seen, at least since Blue Box Square. So it's an incredibly exciting time to share all of this growth with you. Next question.
Kristen, we're dying to know, how is West Hartford doing with office space?
Thanks, Chuck. We're doing well. So I'm sure people have seen headlines of how bad it is right now with office space. And so we are certainly an outlier here. I think some of the surrounding communities around West Hartford are in double-digit vacancies, all the way up to 20% vacancy. Recently, we dropped to 5%. So that's one of the lowest that we've seen in my time here. So let's touch on some of the new office users that have come into West Hartford. Bishop's Corner typically does really well with medical office. So here's some of the new businesses that we welcome. Springtide Child Development, they're in the offices above Colma Steakhouse, so they work with children with autism. Trinity Health of New England, Canonis Medical Group, they opened a new office at the Simon Conover building. And then two different offices, separate offices from Prime Healthcare. Greater Hartford Family Medical also opened in the Simon Conover building. And then soon to open in the Edens, a couple doors down from Springtide, will be Kretschenzer Urology. Blueback Square has had significant success with office space. So here's a couple of highlights. In 8,000 square feet of space, we welcomed Crow Accounting. This was a relocation from Simsbury. They bring more than 65 employees with them. I got some interior shots of their space. They really did an overhaul of that space. So what they came to Blueback Square for was the restaurants, the entertainment, and the walkability. So they have a lot of residents who live here in town, and this was a space that made the most sense for them. So they are a fantastic firm, excited to have them here. And then GYL Financial Synergies. They have been located in 65 Memorial. They recently relocated to the Lexicon. So what they did was they had a significant expansion, and so they moved into 9,000 square feet of space. So these are not small leases. So we definitely thank Charter for all of their efforts to be able to help us recruit as well as retain new and existing office users. Also in Blueback Square spaces. So this opened, I believe it was about 4 years ago in the former REI space when they moved over to Corbin's Corner, but they continue to welcome a lot of new businesses. So the businesses they welcomed in the last year include Anthony's Abatement, Burns and Wilcox, Evaristo Insurance, and others. Another chamber ribbon cutting at 901 Farmington Avenue. Arch Dental of West Hartford opened a location earlier this year. At 8 North Main Street, Rich Rockland, he opened a new location. He had been located in the offices above and had an expansion into a storefront down on the ground floor. Causeway Collaborative, they are a new business. They work with folks focused on mental health services. So they are a new business at 18 North Main. Over at 994 Farmington Avenue, Lewis Real Estate is a new office as well on the ground floor of that building. Elder Crew, they work with the elderly. They opened an office at 65 LaSalle Road. Hoysel Consulting opened at 61 South Main Street, so kitty corner from Town Hall. And then Town Center, which is one of our biggest office buildings in town. This is right in downtown West Hartford, right across from Town Hall. They welcomed several new office businesses. Those include a West Hartford Merrill Lynch expansion, Lindbergh and Ripple, as well as World Insurance. They've seen even more office users coming into that space. So I believe that their vacancies are incredibly low as well. So they've done a tremendous job being able to bring new users and then afford for expansion in town. They have another property that we will get to in a minute. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, this is a brand new lease that was recently executed, 45 South Main Street. John Drow Wealth Management will be relocating to West Hartford Center from Farmington. So Corporate Center West, This is our largest office building. It is really interesting in order to see who is on their tenant roster. They have a lot of headquartered companies. They do a really excellent job in recruiting and keeping people in town. So I will note that they also recently did a significant internal reinvestment. So they did a whole redo of their entryway when you enter into that building. They've made improvements to a lot of their tenant spaces. And so when we talk about office space, this as well as Ebac Square, why they're being successful is their Class A office spaces. They are brand new spaces or reinvested in spaces, and that's where people want to be. So in a time where not everybody wants to be in a traditional office, the folks that are reinvesting into their properties are the ones that are successful. So we thank them for their significant investment. So new office users here, MBT Bank, who is one of our sponsors. They opened their Connecticut headquartered location here last year. Berkeley Healthcare. This is a consolidation and relocation of several offices that they had located around West Hartford and their region, but also an expansion for them. Keystone Equipment Finance Corp. They are located off of Prospect Avenue. They will be relocating into approximately 8,000 square feet of space. Golf Law Group. They had been located on Brace Road and recently relocated over to Corporate Center West. They're in more than 8,000 square feet of space, so excited to be able to allow for their expansion and keep them in town. Can't take credit for these photos, another very difficult property to photograph. So I'll take these from the architect's website, Quisenberry. So this is another large investment. So at the corner of Park Road and South Main Street, opened earlier this year, a Hartford healthcare building, again, another sponsor. So this is a 17,000 square foot medical office building, 2 stories. And where Hartford Healthcare by far has one of the largest footprints of any of the healthcare institutions in Connecticut in West Hartford. And so we're just really excited that they continue to choose West Hartford for their growth. Next question.
Anything new in the industrial sector?
There is. All right. So our industrial area is primarily the southeast corridor of town. However, we do have an outlier. So up in Bishop's Corner on Albany Avenue, a recent chamber ribbon cutting last month, the Iron Shop West Hartford, they opened in this vacant space. At the Andover Industrial Plaza, a couple of new leases. Playhouse on Park, they opened a scene shop here. West Hartford Landscaping Inc. is a new company to join the Andover Industrial Plaza. And what I'll note is the Andover Industrial Plaza is on the other side of New Park Avenue. So if you take a right or left, depending upon which direction you're coming from, at the Housing Authority's new building at 540 New Park, if you go over the Connecticut fast track tracks, you will come over to the Andover Industrial Plaza. Lima Granite and Marble, they are a relocation from Hartford and an expansion. They recently located at 154 Reed Avenue. And then, not a new business, Connecticut Shower and Bath. I included them here. They've been in business in West Hartford for over 30 years. They are a fantastic, anchor retailer for us on New Park Avenue. But what's exciting about this is they've been leasing this space for a very long time. They were in a position recently where they were able to purchase this property. So they purchased this property, and that ensures that they will be here long-term in West Hartford. Back to the Andover Industrial Park. This is the largest industrial lease that I have seen in my time here. Windsor Wind Air. They are a HVAC retailer and distributor. They recently took this entire building that you see, which is more than 35,000 square feet of space. Over at 14 Grassmere, Link Scooters, the scooters that you see around Hartford, they recently signed a lease in this building. So what this will serve is as a repair shop as well as housing for any of their scooters that are not on the street. 600 Oakwood Avenue saw a relocation of Rock Ironworks, who had been up in Bishop's Corner. They opened in a much larger space here over the course of the summer. And then on New Britain Avenue, extra space storage. So this is another really sizable investment. So this had been the former Valley space. It had been vacant for well over a decade, primarily because it was highly contaminated. So this was a brownfield site. And so we had tried to reposition this property for a number of years, and then came in Extra Space Self-Storage, who ended up purchasing this property. They were very limited in terms of what you actually can execute on this site based on the contamination. So this was a really great way to bring this property back online. So it's a much more exciting transition, especially once you're going under the overpass, or the underpass, excuse me, on New Britain Avenue. Dillon Milling and Printing. So they have been a long-time business in town. They recently celebrated 90 years in business, a significant amount of that time in West Hartford. So they're located at 114 Shield Street. So they were in a position where, as printing specifically has really progressed with technology, they were able to buy a lot of new, smaller pieces of equipment, which allowed for them to reduce their footprint within this building, but maintain the same level of operations. So in order to be able to make way for that, again, it's due to advancements in technology. They are very well known in the community as they work with a number of organizations to be able to put out mailers and pamphlets and things like that. But that freed up about 30,000 square feet of space in that building for Hartford Chrome. So Hartford Chrome is our fourth largest manufacturer located in town. They are an aerospace components manufacturer, and they purchased the building. So Dillon stays on as a reduced footprint tenant, and Hartcon is currently working to build out their space here. This is an expansion of their operations in town. I believe this is their fourth building that they have purchased. This is another really interesting project. So off of South Street at 179 South Street, this is the site of the former Honeywell factory. So this was a site that was a manufacturer for decades. It had, lots of contamination. So Honeywell demoed their building when they relocated elsewhere, and started to do some environmental remediation, specifically within the soils. But this site basically sat vacant because you have a limitation in terms of what you can do on it. So you can't dig down more than about 5 feet. There are restrictions, so you're limited in terms of actual density on this site. However, some business owners in town, they purchased this parcel. It is a 12-acre parcel. They recently converted it, as you can see, to a really interesting brand new use for us. So it's called Stormwater Outdoor. So what they do is it's a space where tractor trailers, RVs, boats, things that maybe don't fit on your property or you're not allowed to have on your property, or because vacant space is few and far between here, we don't have the land or parking lot capacity to be able to house these larger, 18-wheelers and things like that. So they had this really interesting idea. And as you can see, they recently opened this over the course of the summer. You can have the opportunity to store any of these types of vehicles in a key lock space, as you can see on the bottom right-hand side, or elsewhere on this property. So this is probably, what's exciting about it is it's not something you would think of in West Hartford. and it's probably the best end use in order to keep this 12-acre site industrial in West Hartford. Next question.
West Hartford continues to be recognized as a culinary destination. What's new?
Okay, Stan, lots of stuff. All right, so let's dive in. Food. What's interesting in putting together this presentation is we have a lot of food, but as you can see, I think in terms of new businesses, it was pretty evenly distributed across these industry sectors. What's new in the food rental is up in Bishop's Corner, a recent lease, Chopped Creative Salad Company. So prior to last year's presentation, Maximum Beverage had relocated from the Marshalls Plaza across the street. This freed up about 9,000 square feet of space. So Chopped is taking about 2,500 square feet. So they're currently working to obtain their building permits, and they will start build out soon in this location. They hope to be open early next year. On Farmington Avenue East, in a former hair salon space, Black Bamboo, longtime West Hartford business. They're currently working to obtain building permits, but own this property now. This will be, once they're complete with the conversion, this will be a relocated space for Black Bamboo, who's a little bit further down the street on Farmington Avenue, but it will also be a larger location for them. And what's great is they no longer will be leasing, they actually own this property. Same owner as Black Bamboo, Sunny Chen. He also purchased the former subway space in West Hartford Center right next to the chamber. Opening this past weekend, Ganja. They sell bubble tea, so excited for Sunny to expand and open another business in town. A lot of activity on Raymond Road. So we talk a lot about Blueback Square, and then there's other pockets of Raymond Road located between Blueback and Whole Foods that have had a lack of investment. We've seen some reinvestment after sitting vacant or blighted for a number of years, and here's two things that we saw. So directly next to the drive aisle, in order to enter into the Whole Foods Plaza, Toro Loco Mexican Street Foods. They opened in the former Petals and Paws space, as you can see on the right-hand side. And then directly next to that, we had a purchase of this property. So this is the former Washburn property. It used to have a office building on it about a decade ago that burnt down, and it kind of just sat vacant. So recently that property was purchased by the owners of Liquid Nirvana. So they have a couple different locations in Hartford County. They are currently working on plans in order to redevelop this site, hopefully for a mixed-use project with Liquid Nirvana on the ground floor. Blueback Square, a couple of firsts in Blueback Square. So this is already an out-of-date photo for Rosa Mexicano. So I took this maybe about 3 weeks ago. I know that the new signs have gone up. They're slated to open later this month. But this will be an upscale Mexican restaurant. And so this is a first location in Connecticut for Rosa Mexicana. And then another first, Oath Pizza. They opened this summer. This is in the former Pokemon space on Memorial Road. And so this is another first Connecticut location. The place to be, they opened since last year's presentation. They have such a loyal following that they're growing in West Hartford. They are best known for brunch. The former Rizzuto space is currently in the process of being converted into Gran Gusto. So this will be another Italian restaurant. The restaurant chain that will be opening this is currently located and has a couple restaurants down in Fairfield County. And then in the vacant follow space, significant improvements by Blueback Square in the patio, and a recent announcement of a lease, Boqueria, will be opening in this space. So they are a Spanish tapas restaurant, and this is another first for Connecticut. Across from Town Hall, the Russell, Hugh Russell is a resident of West Hartford, and so we were happy to find the space for him. He opened his Caribbean restaurant in this space, which was the former Harry's Pizza space. And so it had been a long time goal of his in order to open a location in West Hartford. Currently has his flagship restaurant in Hartford. On South Main Street, right before you hit Farmington Avenue, Kung Fu Tea recently opened. Longtime business, Sally and Bob's. They were in a position recently where they were able to expand. So as you see on the left-hand side, this is additional space that they took at 8 North Main in order to have an expansion of their seating area, which is fantastic, again, for a very long-time business in town. At the former Barb's Pizza space, which is in the Brace Road lot, Zephyr Street Pizza, they opened earlier this year in this space. A couple of additional restaurants in West Hartford Center, specifically on Farmington Avenue. So this was another, I wouldn't say long time vacant, but for a food use space, pretty long time vacant as these spaces turn over quickly in West Hartford. So this was the former Cozy space that was closed for more than 3 years. El Santo, Tacos and Tequila, they opened around Cinco de Mayo in this space. So this is the owner of this restaurant is one of the original owners of Frida down in Elmwood. So great to see her expand in West Hartford. And then in the former Grant space recently opened is Sparrow. So this is a long time build out, but excited to finally have them open. So they specifically feature pizza and different types of Italian items. And then this was last week at the Lobster Craft ribbon cutting. So now they didn't just open, they did open last year. But as the chamber is seeing a lot of, again, growth and activity, they're seeing a lot of requests for ribbon cuttings. So we were able to squeeze something in last week. Unfortunately, it was raining, but the picture came out beautiful anyways. But they are celebrating more than a year in West Hartford. Over on Park Road, Fuego Picante, they opened last year. So this is 202 Park Road. Previously, the owners had owned a food truck, and so this was their step into their very first storefront location. 0 Degree Thai Ice Cream, they opened around the turn of the year. So they had previously been located a little bit further down on Park Road. They had a small hiatus, and they found a new lease and then built out a new space, so we were excited to welcome them back. Smoke Public House is the former Beachland Smoke. So this was a purchase by new owners who basically brought this up to their concept, and they opened earlier this year. A couple of additional, this is pretty much the whole entire building on Park Road has seen a lot of progress, but a space a couple doors down, 1001 Arabian Bites. So this is directly next to and affiliated with the Hookah Lounge that's there. They opened a revamped Lebanese style restaurant earlier this year in that space. And then directly next door, we can soon expect Portobello Pizza to open. So they will specialize in Italian cuisine. And then Prospect Pizza, well, not a new business. We are seeing a lot of movement over at Prospect Plaza. So currently they are working on building out a new location and a relocation within Prospect Plaza. The former Gold Rock Diner, it was announced that they were closing, and currently they are working to convert this into an IHOP. So again, another property that's difficult to keep up to date, as I've seen significant improvement as they're getting ready to open since I last took this picture, but they should open probably within the next month and some change. And then at the former D'Angelo's building at 25 King Street, these are some engineer drawings of a Starbucks. So that was a recent announcement of a new lease. So what's exciting about this is they will have a drive-through location, which will be a first for our Starbucks in West Hartford. Over on New Park Avenue, Sunrise Country Kitchen opened. Also on New Park Ave, G Monkey, so they are a plant-based food restaurant. So they relocated from Branford and opened earlier this year. Cake Gypsy is still coming soon, so the space is fully built out as she is expanding quite rapidly throughout the area. She is planning to be able to open this location before the end of the year. And then down in the Shield Street Plaza, a new lease is Chop Hoppy. So this will be Asian influenced and they will sell tea and sweets. So they are currently working to obtain building permits in this location. Corporate Center West that I talked about is our largest office building, 433 South Main Street. They are currently working to obtain approvals to build another Starbucks. So we just talked about a Starbucks on King Street. This is, that is a conversion. This will be new construction. So they are located directly off of 84. Again, a lot of office users and people who go through that property on a regular basis, especially since they have a significant healthcare building there. But they are hoping to get approvals for this new out parcel Starbucks building, also with a drive-through. I believe that they are looking to formally submit, if not already formally submitted, the special development district request to the town council quite soon. Down in Corbin's Corner, a couple of new restaurants, Hot Table, Panini. They are located in Western Mass. They have been expanding throughout Northern Connecticut, and so we welcomed them earlier this year. And then another first for West Hartford, Tavern in the Square. They also opened a couple doors down. So Tavern in the Square is owned by a restaurant group that has several locations in Greater Boston, and this is their very first location in Connecticut. So both of those restaurants are located in the Shake Shack building in the Seritage Plaza. Next question.
I'm curious, Kristen, are we still seeing business activity in health, wellness, and personal services?
Yes. There's no better answer other than yes. We can say yes. So awesome. This is a significant investment. So we recently had an expansion on the University of St. Joseph campus. So how fitting for the person who read this. So on the USJ campus, this is a new 31,000 square foot expansion to the O'Connell Athletic Center. So great investment, and it's nice to see a lot of the new investment that's happening on USJ and how they continue to just expand here in West Hartford. Master Huang's, they had been located on the top floor of the SK Lavery site for a number of years. They recently relocated into Crossroads Plaza. Another chamber ribbon cutting last year, Restore Hyper Wellness. They're best well known for cryotherapy. They opened in one of the ground floor spaces in the Coma building. And then Float 41, they recently celebrated an expansion. So what they have added, so they are a wellness, they do float therapy, but they added recently a salt cave. On Farmington Avenue East, Salami Beauty recently opened. And then a couple of new businesses in Lubac Square, Solid Core, as well as a Weekend 180 Weight Loss. They opened last month. Over on Isham Road, School of Rock, this is another chamber ribbon cutting. They took a very sizable space at 20 Isham and they opened last year. New businesses in West Hartford Center also include Catherine Hunt Studio, so it's a design studio. So they're located just abutting Grace Road parking lot. And then Oksana Salon, West Hartford. So this is a a hair salon and beauty salon that is located up in Western Massachusetts, and they expanded for another location down in West Hartford. Other salons that recently opened in West Hartford Center, Gloss Salon, Radiant Beauty, which is a med spa, and then Aroma Body and Foot Spa, and then a sponsor, People's Bank, who is headquartered out of also Western Massachusetts. They opened their space next to the post office on LaSalle Road. Over at Sedgwick, Best Cleaners, they opened a space last year, so the owner said they've been looking in West Hartford for something, close to 10 years, couldn't find a great space, but this is the former Victoria's Cleaner space, which also sat vacant for a number of years, so very excited that they were finally able to expand here in West Hartford. Homegrow Studio, they had been down on Prospect Avenue, and they recently relocated to the corner of South Main and Park Road. And then Chuck's Gym, We Have Fit, is currently building out their space here in order to open. So this is a person who just started out personal training and has really built their clientele in West Hartford, and they will be opening this ground floor space in the former DeGraws soon. Talked about Prospect Plaza a couple of times. So with Prospect Pizza, who is currently working on relocating, that's because, as you see, they're over on the left-hand side of the building. The Hibachi Grill, which unfortunately closed during the height of COVID, they recently announced that there is a new lease for the Prospect Pizza space as well as the Hibachi space that will be a new Planet Fitness. So they recently started to demo the interior of this, and they hope to open early next year. Also in that same building, DoorDash Dash Mart. So this is a warehouse location. Basically, if you go on the DoorDash app and you place an order for any convenience type items, think toiletries, paper towels, things like that, a DoorDash rep will come and pull the items for them from this location and deliver them directly to you. Over on Newport Avenue, Monica's Paw Pet Spa opened in the G-Monkey, a couple doors down from G-Monkey. And then 635 New Park, so this is a industrial space that has 5 buildings. They're located right down the road behind the Gastro Park. So they welcomed a number of new businesses within the last year and some change. So Tribe recently relocated from West Hartford Center to this building 2. And then the Performance Lab, they opened a second location. They're currently have their first location in Prospect, Connecticut. And then others include Magic Power Tattoo, and then Rebellion Barber Company, who was a expansion and relocation from Salons by JC in Bishop's Corner. And then to round out new tenants there, those include Jump Pop Studio, the Strength Spot, which is personal training, as well as Revival Spa. And then our relocation from New Park Avenue is Jiu-Jitsu Jiu-Jitsu. Exciting, more recent announcement. So Central Rock Gym will be taking over the former workout world space at 99 Shield Street. So this is an expansion for Central Rock Gym, with a first location in West Hartford. So once it's open, it will be a 22,000 square foot building, and it will also feature more than 10,000 square feet of climbing walls. So this will be the largest, I believe it's the largest square footage area of climbing walls in New England. Fitness with Jonathan, they had been located on New Park Avenue. They are relocating directly next to where Ashley Home Store is. So this is again, relocation, but expansion for them. Down in Corbin's Corner, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy. They opened earlier this year, so that rounded out the Shake Shack building. So that is now fully leased, fully tenanted in the Seritage development. And then another new lease announcement, Club Pilates. They will be opening right next to Crumble Cookies. So you can work out and then you can go get some cookies, and then you can go next door to REI. You can get some outdoor equipment. Okay, and then last question.
Lastly, what's happening with the former UConn campus?
Great. So definitely high on people's radar. So the former UConn campus, this slide has been here for years, predates me, but a lot of significant movement on this site. So this site was sold in December of last year, the site in its entirety. So what is currently happening is the development company who owns that parcel, they have been working for several months with town staff to try and iron out concepts for that property. So since they're in the pre-development stage and they're still trying to iron out these concepts, while they're navigating this, they are teaming up to shortly go to the Design Review Advisory Committee to start to get some feedback on what they hope to be able to propose on the site. So can't release too many details, but that will be made public in a couple weeks when they start to go to DRAC. And again, you know, it's not anything that is set in stone, but they're making significant progress. So this will be exciting, where I'm sure that we'll be able to release some details prior to the end of the year. So a little bit more, I think, than we've been able to explain in the past, but excited to see where that property is going to go. Other questions? So this is the point where we wrap up, and then happy to take questions from the audience.
Thanks, that was great. What are the plans for, or are there any plans for changing the traffic flow on LaSalle Road?
So, so although not included in the presentation, definitely, you know, a community development, economic development initiative. So we recently hired a firm called Stantec. So they specialize in engineering, design, parking, really, you know, hone in on different types of denser infrastructure. They've worked all over the nation. So what they're helping us with is called the Center Infrastructure Master Plan. And so a part of that is taking in information and feedback from the community in terms of how West Hartford Center is currently operating, as well as Payback Square, and any suggested amendments. So, you know, to answer your question, we're not sure exactly if it will be changed on LaSalle Road, but it's something that they're taking a deeper dive in. And so this will be a 12-month process. We kicked it off in August. And so before the end of the summer next year, we will have some plans that we'll bring back to the community that will basically incorporate feedback they received through surveys, public events, as well as town staff, but most specifically property owners and business owners. So hard to answer right now, but we'll have clarity within, you know, the next 6 to 8 months.
Kristen, I love the presentation. So many exciting things happening. And I had a quick question with a little bit of context. A lot of people who travel to theme parks all around America love having safe streets to roll and stroll with their families, where they don't have cars to worry about, or exhaust, or noise. I'm wondering if we can create a more walkable West Hartford Town Center that feels kind of like a theme park, our own magic kingdom, if you will. I don't think it would be difficult, and I'm wondering how we can support chamber members in connecting these new businesses, especially the businesses that have residences above and commercial spaces below, with more walkable streets. How can we support chamber members in providing more walkability, which is better for business?
Sure, thank you for that question. So I think it definitely plugs back into that center infrastructure master plan. West Hartford in general, you know, we are attractive because we're walkable. West Hartford is built on a grid system, so honestly, almost the entirety of the town, except for up on the mountain, is walkable. But specifically in West Hartford Center, we understand and recognize the fact that business operations have changed. Based on the last time that we updated the infrastructure, we would like to be able to welcome new events, you know, biking events, different types of festivals. We want to be able to accommodate outdoor retail, outdoor dining, things like that. We're not set up for it right now. So what I would say is encouraging any chamber members to be able to get involved in this process so that your concerns or your suggestions are heard and they can be recognized in this final, master plan that we'll ultimately adopt. But, definitely a work in progress, but it's something that is a huge focus because we recognize it's something that is attractive about West Hartford and we want to continue to progress that.
Thank you. Were there any other questions? All right, well, I feel like Kristen gave a very deep dive into everything that's going on here in town, so it looks like you cleared up everything for everyone.
One last item is thank you so much to our sponsors. As you all saw, many of the sponsors here are new or expanding businesses in West Hartford. The chamber we could not do what we do without you. So thank you so much for all of your investment in West Hartford and definitely the West Hartford Chamber of Commerce.
I've already scripted what I was going to say, but I'm going to throw it out. I think I've gone to like 10 of these over the years. This was without a doubt the best presentation for economic development I've ever seen. Now I'll thank our sponsors. We also want to thank our presenting sponsor, M&T Bank. Our gold sponsors, Hartford Healthcare, People's Bank, and Westfield Bank. Silver sponsors, Clifton Larston Allen, Comcast Business, and NBT Bank. Our audio visual sponsor, Chuck Gorski. Chuck, great job with microphones this year. And our media sponsor, 2020 Media. Thank you for joining us, and as I mentioned at the beginning, if anybody wants to connect, Kate and I will be around after the meeting. This concludes it, and we are exactly at 1:30.